Just the torture.
Yeah, he had to torture him to get his consent to ravage his butthole.
Consent.
Yeah. Yeah. Surrender was the word that he chose, which was correct.
I like your, like, both y'all's visceral fucking response when he was like, I'm not in the mood for a cunt.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't so much that as it was the like, the other torturer guy or whatever was, like, smelling his fingers after he had, like, touched Claire.
Yeah, to check her for weapons.
I don't know about you, but I keep all my weapons inside my vagina.
Yeah, it's a carpet bag.
It's a carpet bag? Disgusting. Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Outlander, Season 1, Episode 15, Wentworth Prison. Yeah.
Man.
We begin with a line of men being hanged, having to watch all of the men be hanged in front of them.
Yeah.
And so Jamie and McQuarrie are there. McQuarrie does get hanged, and it takes him a minute, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does not snap his neck, so he gets to choke to death.
Which is horrible. And then literally they have the noose around Jamie's neck and everything. And guess who rides into the square? Captain Jack Randall says, "Stop the execution." He looks terrified.
And I'm telling you, if I were Jamie, I would have just taken a running start and just be like, you know what, I'm good. I pick this instead.
Right off the edge.
Yeah, swan dive.
But they stop the execution and they take him inside. And meanwhile, Claire is still trying to find a way to like get in so they can, figure it out. And they're getting pretty pissed at Angus and Rupert. Although I feel like they should remember this isn't the first time Angus and Rupert have like done the right thing by drinking and gambling with people in the local tavern.
They do it in a very like political way, I feel like, where it's like, let's just warm them up with food and drink.
Exactly.
And give them a little bit of money.
Yeah. I like these moments because Rupert and Angus are like cleverer than I think they get credit for because they're just like, they're sort of just dumb.
They're buffoons.
They're just sort of doing whatever. But I think it's fun how smart they actually end up being a lot of the time. That's some of my favorite stuff. So they basically find out that the warden of Wentworth Prison is like absent from his office for like over an hour every day because he like does dinner and like praying and all kinds of other stuff. And so they like sort of after having gone, because she goes in the first time and she's like, he like won't let her see Jamie or do anything. And so he gives her his effects. So after that, they decide to like break back in and just sort of like bully their way back in and be like, he's expecting me.
Are you calling me a liar?
Are you calling him a liar?
There you go,
specifically, yeah. So they managed to get back in there and they're looking around for keys and a map of the prison and stuff. They don't end up finding it. They found
the keys.
Well, the guy had the keys because the guy comes back in.
No, because he saw that Myrta had the keys in his hand.
Okay, but so they were still looking for a map.
Yeah, because Claire was saying, what good are keys if we don't have a map?
Exactly. So they have to knock him out. And she's like, tie him up and hide him somewhere. And I'm like, how long is this guy going to be there? Hidden and tied up somewhere.
Yeah.
So Myrta leaves and Claire goes looking for Jamie. She sees a bunch of really it's just like big rooms full of dudes on the ground. I mean, like, I know the prison system is still broken, but like at least they have cots and beds and stuff now.
No, this is like Gen Pop before Gen Pop.
Ugh, yeah. Everyone's coughing. I'm sure it's
fucking smallpox.
Yeah, I'm sure it smells just terrible.
Ugh. Probably dead people in there already.
Oh, 100%. So she finally sort of like finds a little trail down to where she needs to be. And she tries. Well, meanwhile, Jamie and Blackjack have been like.
Well, Blackjack comes down to Jamie.
Yeah.
And clearly, well, first he sends down a meal, which not enough forethought on that one, sir.
Given what you're about to do.
Yeah.
What you're about to try to do.
Sir, if you claim to be a top.
Yeah, it seems.
Okay.
Come on.
You all know what we're saying. The subtext is there. But anyway.
Do your homework.
But so he comes down there and just starts like a cat with a mouse. Yeah. Apparently, since my cat does not like to play with mice. But
you're like,
just plays with his food effectively. Yeah. And he's got like this giant manservant who is dumb in the way of like in the old world way of saying dumb.
Yeah.
Because he's not all there, right? He's just he's just a brute.
Yeah, I don't think he's all there, but I also don't think he speaks. So I think he's dumb in both ways.
Yeah. And I mean, he's like, I will give you the option, you know, because a hanging death is below you, beneath you. And so he was like, so I give you the option of the death that you want, but you have to surrender yourself to me. Yeah. And Jamie was like, fucking nope.
Yeah. Like, that's a hard no for me.
Yeah. And
they fight. He tries to get the drop on him. He kind of does for like a minute, but then he smashes his hand all to pieces. It's really horrible.
It's really, really bad. And anytime I do a rewatch of the show, I skip these parts. It is horrendous.
Yeah, it's bad.
To the point that, you know, well, I guess we'll get there in a minute. But so Claire does find her way to Jamie's prison after Randall leaves and has like mangled his hand. And on her way, she opens a door. Yeah. Which I'm glad she had the forethought on that. But so she finds him and tries to get him out. And so, of course, Randall and what the fuck his name is shows up.
Yeah, I don't know the
Marley.
Yeah, that's right.
And so Marley has to check Claire for weapons, which is just so much laying his face all over her and smelling.
There's too much sniffing in this episode.
Really, there's a lot. There's so much.
Because Blackjack smells Claire's hair, too, and everything. Ugh, it's gross.
Yeah, and I love that Claire's like, do you want to see me? I'm surprised you don't want to watch me with Marley.
Yeah.
And he was like, I have...
Because he's going to, like, give her to him.
He was like, I have a taste for aesthetic, and you're much too fine to be with the likes of Marley. So everyone's just like, just hair in their face.
So he's like, no, I don't want to watch.
Yeah. And so, of course, Randall starts attacking Claire because they all fight because Jamie gets up. And he
manages to slice Marley's throat, though.
Stab him, like, right in there. Yeah. And then Randall has Claire by the throat, and Jamie asks him to stop. And he was like, I'll give you
what you want.
Yeah. I'll give me to you. And so he was like, can I have basically like a good faith deposit? And so he fucking nails his hand into the table. Yeah. Now, I know I told you this when we were watching the story. So I got to this part in the book when I was on a flight to Vegas with my ex-husband. And so we're towards the end of the plane. And I had already been like in the throes of reading this book for weeks. Mm-hmm. So we get to this part and I am just screaming because I'm a very visual, like I picture things. And so
on the plane, you screamed?
Oh my God. And so Ryan was like, shut up. So I had my scarf at the time, the one that I was wearing in like the first couple of episodes.
Just like this, except for lighter.
Yeah. So I am like having to scream into my scarf because Diana Gabaldon, let me tell you.
Yeah, wow.
She writes so effectively.
She does.
And I have chills just thinking about it. But for like 20 minutes, but I couldn't stop reading it, but it was awful. So after I got to like the end of the chapter, Ryan was like, you really cannot do that. I'm like, it's so awful. It's like, what's happening? I'm like, I don't want to tell you.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. God, and then we're so mad because we didn't even get to the end of this episode with anything. We still have a whole other episode of so much torture.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's like the next episode's worse.
It really is.
Because it's like torture is torture, but then the next episode is all the sex torture.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have never seen any show, movie, whatever, that has depicted a breaking of a person.
Oh, yeah.
Quite like this show.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So that's the thing where like you were making a lot of squeamish noises, and I was actually just sitting looking at the TV and grinning because for me, what I like so much, even though it's like truly one of the most horrible things I've ever seen on a TV show, I love it because they're so good at acting.
Yeah.
And especially against each other. Mm-hmm. That's honest to God, my biggest complaint from like future seasons is that like Blackjack or like Tobias Menzies and Sam Heughan don't have more scenes together. Mm-hmm. And also Katrina Balfe, like the three of them were such a good like initial like triangle of like talent to have season one sort of hang on. Cause it is really all of the biggest emotional scenes are the three of them. And I just like, I'm blown away every single time because also I have seen in interviews that Tobias Menzies is like a really delightful man.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like so nice.
So nice.
And it's like alarming how good he is at this.
Because he is sociopathic.
Yeah.
He is so calm and cool.
Yeah.
But it is terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying.
He also, after he nails his hand into the thing, he makes Jamie kiss him in front of Claire.
Yes. Because she's just wrapped on him, just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, and then has to like kiss him delicately on the mouth.
To which I said, the thing that's weird about it is that I would kiss both of those men in real life. I would absolutely do it. But like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. How these people, I mean, I know why, because it's genre, but how are we not throwing Emmys at these people? This is, I mean, we talk about this all the time, how it's so easy to be a dramatic actor, but this is so contained, and there is so much inner work that's being done.
Yeah.
So you're not just sitting there emoting and beating your breast and whatever. Like Claire, yes, is doing that, but Sam Heughan does so much work physically. And same with Tobias Menzies. Yeah. There are like little ticks that they do that are so fascinating and so talented.
At one point, Tobias Menzies makes this thing with his mouth and his teeth, and it's just sort of like a look of disgust almost, but not quite.
It's like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. It's like so fascinating. But I'll tell you exactly why it gets no awards, and it's because it's not just one genre, it's two. It's romance and fantasy.
But it's also historical. There are history things that happen.
That's why.
Trash.
Yeah. And it's on Stars. I don't know the last, I mean, Penny Dreadful was on Showtime, and it was nothing. Like, Eva Green didn't get nominated for anything.
Guys, HBO is all fine and well, but there are other channels that have fantastic properties that should be awarded. I mean, and all of these people, I think Katrina Balfe has only been nominated once, and it was in season 2.
I think you are correct.
And I think we'll get there. We don't want to spoil that part, but it's just, there's so many talented people on this show, and it doesn't get the love that it should get. It absolutely deserves it in spades.
So she's been a nominee for a Golden Globe 4 times.
Oh, okay.
But she's never won. I don't believe she's ever been nominated for a Primetime Emmy because it's not on here. So
I really wish the Globes were not problematic.
Yeah. Well, she is nominated again for a Golden Globe this year for Belfast. So
Belfast was good. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's very, very good.
But yeah, other than that, she won a couple Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Film awards for Outlander 3. But yeah, I agree. I think more genres should be recognized. There's no excuse why many, many people don't have awards for stuff like this.
Yeah, I don't understand how this is any different than any other fictional piece of work. You know what I mean?
Like you tell me right now how this is different than Game of Thrones.
Yeah. For real, there aren't dragons in this. There was a water monster in the book that they left out. But Game of Thrones, there's a fucking Queen of Dragons.
Yeah.
What the hell, guys?
Well, Game of Thrones wins awards though. Acting too. But mostly just Peter Dinklage.
Which I mean, he deserves it. No, go for it. But like I don't understand how this can be left out because this property is so chock full of talent and fantastic storytelling. And it just makes me sad.
I'll hurt your feelings more.
Hold on. Okay.
It's because it's aimed at women.
I hate it here so much.
I'm just saying, the academies are made up of more men than women, and they're the voters. So
I don't even know what I want to say, but I'm going to say it at this decibel. And I am very displeased with each and every one of you.
Disappointed. All right.
Better.
Well, we're going to go watch the season 1 finale. Really, it's going to be tough as well. So stay prepped.
Yeah. Again, trigger warnings for rape and torture and just an all around bad time.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad time.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't actually get to the so Claire goes back there they're staying at like a local man's house and we find out that Ellen McKenzie got around in her day.
That bitch fucks.
Yeah. Because Claire tries to pay the man for help with the pearls that Jamie gave her on their wedding night, and he's like, I gave these to Ellen. You should keep them and wear them in good health. And she's like, well, I would be able to do that easier if, you
would
husband,
fucking help me.
Yeah. So anyway, his like worker comes back with less than half of the cows that he went out to fetch in the morning. And Murtaugh
is just like,
haha, cows, 19 cows is nothing to sneeze at. And so that's where we end up. Cutting the episode. So Murtaugh's got a plan.
Oh, and we didn't say how when Jack was escorting Claire out, and he goes, I heard a rumor that you were tried as a witch at Cranesmere. And she turns around and it's all spooky in the hallway, and she looks all creepy. And she goes, I was, and which I am. And I cursed you, Randall, with knowledge. The day you were born was whatever,
September something, 1705. Yeah.
And then the day of your death, and she whispers it in his ear.
Yeah.
And he looks so scared and then pushes her in a hole.
Pushes her right out where they drop all the dead bodies.
Yeah.
So
that was really good.
Super spooky.
Okay, we've put it on long enough. We're put off long enough. We're gonna do it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.